Thank you for coming. Healthy food for everybody, and especially today because the event is taking place in Southern California, and the people in Los Angeles area, I think mostly come together. But today's world is all interconnected, and even out the other side of the earth in Africa, it's evening time right now, but we are connected. So I am happy to share with you our friends, the farmers in Africa, how they are doing today. The Shumei's Zambia project began in 2004 when Shumei organization acquired UN NGO status. First event took place in Hiroshima, Japan. Shumei co-sponsored Pan-Pacific Asia Youth Leaders Summit. As one of the Southern Africa representatives, Miss Barbara Hachipika, she was, I think, 20 years old at that time. She came to Japan and participated in this event. And actually, after her returning to Zambia, her mother organized a group of women farmers to empower them in rural development and help them grow healthy food. But unfortunately, Barbara's mother died 1 year after the movement by a tragic traffic accident. So then farm leaders came to see Lusaka waiting for Barbara coming back from Japan to succeed her mother's project. And in those days, farmers has been suffering from lack of resources to buy seed and chemical fertilizers. And farmers asked Barbara, could you help we farmers in rural area of Zambia? And Barbara thought of when she was in Japan, oh, I heard a way of agriculture which does not require any fertilizer. Then she sent me an email, asking me to come to Zambia to share the knowledge and help support farmers. That was the beginning. So 2004, end of October and beginning of November, I traveled to Zambia first time. And that was, I really didn't know what the best way to help in working with Zambian farmers because I don't know their agriculture and then the pattern of the nature. So a lot of hope and also a lot of anxiety. I was in the airplane and arrived in Zambia. And from capital city, Lusaka, 2 hours drive paved road. After that, 3 hours bumpy, muddy road and arrived in rural area. This is the family where my first night in Zambia stayed. And the children now, they grown up in their 20s and some of them are already married and have their children. But I always think of this first family's experience deep inside of me because no water, no power, and simply a very quiet and harmonious way of life in rural area. It was in October, so end of dry season. Because of that, as you see, no greens, everywhere very dry. And when I visit the farmers and talk to farmers, they are talking about rain is coming soon. But even rain comes this year, we don't have enough resource to buy seed and fertilizer. So how are you going to help us? You come from Japan. Are you going to help us to buy seed and fertilizer? That was a question I received. And because of end of dry season, all the rivers are completely dry. And the bottom looks like shiny. It's not water. It's very dry. And so they said, if you come in March next year, you will see green all over the place. And our maize is growing beautifully. So they asked me to come back again to Zambia in March, and I did, 2005 in March. I didn't see much difference. Unfortunately, that year was heavy drought. And this was the photo end of October. And in March, supposed to be full of water in this river, but we didn't see much water. So there was a national emergency. The Zambian government needed support from international aid to feed their own people. And this is the water where animals drink water. And so this water should not touch by humans. It's dangerous to drink. But because of the lack of water, many people get this water and drink it. And when I was traveling around the community, everywhere maize are before matured, they're completely dry and dead. But in some locations, I discovered green, beautifully growing maize. And this photo, right-hand side is growing beautifully, left-hand side is drying and died, no maize. And they said, right-hand side, this was old variety with the traditional heirloom, local variety of maize. They said it's an old one. But these are the ones, even the drought situation went through it. So this is the key, I thought. Then I left my fund to buy around this native variety seed. And wherever I traveled and asked them, are you interested in practice natural agriculture? Everybody raised their hands. Not because they understand what is natural agriculture, but if there is any way without using fertilizer, if we can grow our staple food, I want to try. So everybody raised their hands. So in this cooperative, there were about 2,000 members in that time. So I was not able to travel everywhere, so we asked them to choose demonstration farmers. So in this community, we chose 20 demo farmers from each 7 cooperatives, 2 or 3 representing farmers sent to the central area, and we had a first session on natural agriculture in May in March. So we spoke about the principle and how to do natural agriculture. Since I cannot live there, I mentioned everything. And I left my camera and then take photo after I return to Japan, make sure take photo and show me when I come back what you did. And when I returned in October, they gave me a photo, the following photo. This one was, they traveled around all these communities and shared what they learned. Even they used the paper I draw, Mother Earth, sun and moon, water, fire, earth can produce everything. You don't need a fertilizer. I just talk about natural agriculture, but simply just follow what I said. And so I felt, yes, I think maybe we can do it because they are so meekly followed what I said. And they know the nature of the Zambia. They know their products of maize very well. So we don't need to send anyone to Zambia. They are the one do it right away because they are farmers. And they travel everywhere and share the knowledge. So we were able to collect 7 tons of local variety maize that year. And then we gave over 1,000 women farmers 5 kilograms each as a seed we provide. That was the beginning. So after my returning to Japan and US, this collected local variety maize, they scattered around all over the community, and the natural agriculture was begun. Fortunately, in that year, end of this 2005 and 2006, we received wonderful rain. So when I returned in December, this beautiful rainbow welcomed me, and then river has more water, and everywhere was beautifully green in December. Then that time, the first natural agriculture seed was grown, and then we control the weeds in between the maize seed. And then as I leaving Zambia, again, heavy rain came. So in March of 2006, when I returned again, we had a wonderful natural agriculture maize. So this first success of experience was a huge encouragement for the farmers. Without using any fertilizers, we can grow maize. So then, first thing we need to do is, because they are hungry, always when they are waiting for this harvesting time, and start beginning to eat. And then if they possible, they sell it and get some cash income. But first thing we need to do as a farmer is save seed. So I need to return as soon as possible, and before they eat and sell everything, we ask them come back again, and have to show them and how to save seed. So best part of your harvest must be save as a seed. That's the first thing to do as a farmer. So we talk in the classroom, they went to the field, and then share with them how to collect best part of our harvest as a seed. Then again, after returning to US, they travel around the community and shared what they learned, how to save seed with their farmer friends. And then in the second year, again, we become successful. Then before the rain comes one more time, this time over 1,030 farm leaders come together and then learn the philosophy and the principle of natural agriculture, and they share the discussion, the knowledge. And they learn how to explain about natural agriculture. And then some successful farmer, I call them come in front and share what you have learned. Well, as I was doing this, farmers are amazed. What they amazed was normally their tradition, they don't share the knowledge. If somebody is doing very well, neighboring farmers watching and how they did it, but they don't share, they don't ask, they don't communicate. But this time, successful farmer came in front and begin talking what they did. And so they were amazed, oh, she's talking what she did. So the farm leaders understand the importance of sharing knowledge and experience. So this session, now they are happy to share what they learned, what they're doing in their communities. So they start practice how to explain Shumei natural agriculture, how to save seed. And each person stood up and then begin talking about natural agriculture. Today, we have a textbook in local Tonga language, so which each time when new farmers comes, we share this book and explain to them natural agriculture. And no matter what happens, the important thing is saving seed. Even today, every 4 or 5 years, heavy drought situation happens. So each time I'm concerned if they eat everything, that's the end of it. But when I return, they are even so difficult year, they save seed. And so I said, oh, thank you for saving seed. Well, you told me save seed. So at least saving seed, it became a part of the important culture of practice natural agriculture. So this is a traditional place to save seed, and the beautiful seed is collected every year. And they share these seeds, those who newcomers, and also unfortunately, if some farmers are having a difficulty, they are enough to share with neighboring farmers also. And this photo really shows left-hand side, small one. This was 2008. It was another drought year. And left-hand side was a conventional hybrid seed with chemical fertilizers. And because of this is already in February, they are not expect to be able to expect any harvest. But the right-hand side, which is, you can imagine, this is the natural agriculture without using any fertilizers, but the traditional variety maize was successfully able to have a harvest. And this lady, she is very active woman farmer natural agriculture. But her maize field is, actually this is her husband's maize field. And this is again in the February. He will not have any harvest in this field. But in front of this field is her field. Natural agriculture maize is doing wonderfully. So the husband purchased hybrid seed, chemical fertilizer, didn't make any the harvest. But the wife's place with the natural agriculture doing pretty well. So today, I see a lot of men's participated in this project. Zambia is a very strong men's society. And this is a women cooperative. So when I have a gathering, all women sitting around here with shining eye. But in behind, husband watching us. But today, all men and women mix together and sit together, and they are working together. So I'm very happy to see that kind of change happen. And because of the women's commitment and hard work, local chief gave this women cooperative a huge area of property as a headquarters of development of the natural agriculture movement in this community. And now we need the men's power. So the women asked their sons and husbands. They came in and they began and developed. Then since we have a wonderful harvest, I suggest them, why don't you get together and let's celebrate natural agriculture harvest celebration. But they never have done, I didn't know that. In Zambia, in rural area, in many occasions, people get together and singing and celebration happening. No, actually. Only someone get married or someone died, some local people come together. That's the only social event. So we suggested let's do agriculture show in rural area, and then many people come together, and the first natural agriculture show began. And proudly they made their own T-shirts, and they began with local traditional dancing and singing with costume. And over 3,000 farmers and family came together. This is in July. July is winter time. It's quite cold, but they brought a blanket and they sleep outside 3 nights, 4 days, and they cook together, eat together, and dance together, and celebrate their traditions. And Barbara spoke to the farmers and they encouraged them. We committed, and then to share this community, let's change Zambia and let's change Africa. And these events paid attention by the national government. So each time we received many ministers, and the local representative came to the event. But unfortunately, each time when new president comes, all the ministry changed. So then we need to again invite a new the minister. So it's hard to working with the government system. But at least women are very happy and always dance and sing. Each time sing traditional song. At the same time, they compose a new song. They don't have any musical instrument. Their voice is so beautiful. And then the government, each time they come, they commit to support the project. And then we display natural agriculture, local variety maize seed, together with other vegetable and then crafts which women made. And we have now the branded Mbabara Mbabara Women Farmers Cooperative Union Natural Agriculture Maize Seed. And the farmers proudly speaking to government representative about natural agriculture and their practice. And they heard of their neighbors and group of people, but they have never don't have an opportunity to meet and talk. So this social event, natural agriculture, is a very one annual happy occasion. People meet together and share what they do and eat together. So many elders come to me and say, thank me, thank you very much for this event. I've never seen this event in my life. And so many, the farmers and the family come together. The young people, always football is very important. So as a part of the show, we have a football event. And just to clear the area and then running around, many of the participants has no shoes. But doing soccer ball and exciting the event, every boys and girls and children, they come together and they enjoy what they do. The women are using the same soccer ball, but it's called the netball, and then again exciting event for women's. And this man, his wife is an active member. So one day when I visited him, he was sitting in front of the house, and then I asked, where is your wife? And he did, which means she's working in the field in the back side of the house. He was sitting like this. But after natural agriculture show, he was very much interested in this activity, and then next year I will do coordinate the entire event. Since then, he's a very active member of the community event. And one thing I concerned was children. And there are many children around, but there is no children's event. They are just sitting and watching. So I try to do something for children, but everybody grown up like this. When childhood, they have nothing to do, just to sit and watch. And as they become youth and adults, they have an event. So we try to develop events just for children. But today's natural agriculture show always open by children's dancing. And this machine is a brick making machine using local clay. And this must be a teamwork of 5 or 6 men. So, and these men work hard to collect the local clay and they mix with a little bit of cement, and they make these beautiful bricks. And not only these bricks can use for our own project, but also this become a good income possible activities for the community development. And we began building our guest house, because we used to stay very, this is going to be a beautiful place to stay, but it took so long. They said, next time, Alan, when you come, you're going to stay here. But it didn't happen. And again, I'm sorry, it didn't happen. The next time when I come back, again, didn't happen. So I waited for 3 years. But finally, seems like a roof came up, and then eventually, they opened as a Sunset to Sunrise Lodge. And then restaurant area and the beautiful rooms. This is my bedroom. Looks very beautiful and comfortable. And because this area has no place to stay, even the government, the events like UN events, government events, and anything, the people have no place to stay. So this lodge is fully booked, and then for using for local events, it's become again the income for the community development. So this farmer, actually, he's a farmer, but also he's very good at cooking. So now his entire family moved to this area. They became a caretaker of the lodge and then cook all the time. This is his family, and built a new house, and the wife is growing maize. And he's working as a caretaker and the chef of this building. And So always the people come and stay and serve natural agriculture maize. So why don't you, since you serve vegetable too, why don't you grow your own vegetable and in front of the guest house? And it became a natural agriculture vegetable garden. And so today, many fruits and vegetables and maize can be grown in natural agriculture and served to the community people. And this restaurant became very successful, and he hired new waitresses and new chefs, and then it became too busy. Now they are under construction, new restaurant facility to serve the community. Then all incomes come back to the community development project. By watching these activities in this area, other area people come, and then Shumei come to us and help us. And then we share our principle, and then we need a group of people committed to make a change. And then he said, okay, I will do it. And then he started calling women farmers. And then he said, 2 years later, he said, now we have 800 women come together. Why don't you come and help us? And then I went to his home. And, then women welcomed us. But before we begin the project, women project, I need to explain to men, their husband and community leaders what we're going to do. So first we talked to the men's group about our project, and with their approval and support, we began working with women. And this group is very active. Now 1,800 women farmers come together in this community. And Barbara shared her experience in Barbara and the empowerment project for women. And the first thing they want to do, they would like to develop the community hall. So they already have the property ready, and then they make their own bricks, and the men and the women come together, and they work so hard to bring water and sand and build. Everybody come together, build their community hall. So this gave them a wonderful excitement. And then to see something concrete happening, and gave them a wonderful encouragement to do this community work. And local government representatives, congresswoman from this community is very supportive and came here to opening of the community hall. And then again, sing and dance. Then we talk about school, because in this area has no school. Then we decided to build an elementary school first. And this is a building, all bricks were made by women farmers. And then Shumei as an organization, we support roof materials and the window frame and door frames. And then school is about ready to open. And then 3 years ago, in August, was the opening of first the kindergarten. Then every year we build new classrooms, and then every year 30 or 40 students join. So we're going to continue next 8 years, and we can finish primary school. And then each time when I go, children's growing up, and in the classroom, they sit down and teacher teach. And when they look at their notebook, they're learning numbers and alphabets. Very happy to see in rural area the children received a wonderful opportunity. And this is their second classroom is coming soon, and then children's more number of the children grows. And then always the community people come and develop new classrooms. They're supposed to be, if we build a classroom, the government provides a teacher. So we request the Ministry of Education to send us teacher. But 2 years, but the first teacher, official teacher arrived from the government. This is a lady and her husband. they moved to this community and helping children. And one thing we did was a school students' uniform. Instead of buying uniform from the city, we buy materials, and then we donate sewing machine, and then ask students' parents, especially mothers, to come and learn how to sewing. She is the teacher for the sewing machine, and all the mothers come together and they learn how to use sewing machine, and they're making their children's school uniform. So when I came back, children wearing a uniform which was made by their mothers, and the mothers use their skill to improve their life. And so not just the inexpensive school uniform we can make, but also the parents also learn new skills to develop their life. And when we have a natural agriculture events gathering, those who learn how to use machine, now they share what they learned. So 2005, this was the first the maize seed we planted, and 10 years has passed. This is the 10th generation of natural agriculture maize without using any fertilizers. And this 10th natural agriculture show was a big event, and I decided to bring youth from Japan. So 33 youth came with me and share what they do in Japan, and also exchange with youth in Zambian community people. And natural agriculture grows not just maize, but also different maize. And this lady holding a photo, what she asked me was, Alan, I've been working with you for 10 years. Take my photo with this photo together, which what she's holding was 10 years ago. She didn't have enough resource to buy seed, and only one meal a day, myself, my family were able to eat. But today, I have a car. And she was sitting on the car in the photo, and then this natural agriculture project helped my family a lot, and my life totally changed, and that made me very happy. And the one display was amazing and made me, I was so surprised and happy, was this one. This one was, what that means is, always in February, March comes, and the Zambian rural area is a lot of tall grasses all over the place. And traditionally, when they wait until like May to dry and put fire and burn it. But this is a wonderful resource to practice natural agriculture. So I encourage them to cut the grass and keep it as a future compost to mulch. And then after harvesting, mulch beautifully to cover the soil. When dry season comes, sun didn't directly hit the soil. And then when rain comes, the water slowly go into the soil, so we can retain the moisture and protect the soil. So this practice is very important, and this organic material can stay in the soil, and the soil become healthier. So this practice is a very important part of natural agriculture by using local material in Zambia. So each time when we harvest, we see the remaining the grasses stay still on the ground. And so when I saw this display, which means farmers learn how to use local materials, and this knowledge can be shared with other community people. And now they will make a lot of bricks. This is for students, vocational, the job training school, like carpentry or electricity, or all the different kind of the skills we're going to teach in the youth, so that they don't have to go to city. They can stay in the community and then work for the development of the community. So lastly, I'd like to I hope you think of something, because no light in the rural area. The evening comes. As evening comes, beautiful star, but some nights without the moon, it's totally dark. So then in this darkness, but still a lot of noise, I hear the voices. So I said, I'm gonna flash and take a photo. When I took photo, it was like this. So people talking loudly in the evening. So one thing I concerned was the evening comes when I go to bathroom outside. I don't see anything. Then Barbara said, I keep you a candle light. But that 3 o'clock in the morning when I went, no more candles. But fortunately, in that night was a beautiful full moon, so I was able to see some. But when we built a new project site, they built a toilet facility for us. But I know in the evening it's totally dark. So what shall I do in the evening? Then my idea was we use this solar power light. So then this is only $24, and then receive with this solar battery retain the power, and the whole night can be bright. So I thought this is a good idea. We can have this. And then when I share with this idea, and then many the friends say, "Oh, this is a good idea. Why don't we fundraise and support, African farmers with this?" Then I had a question: is this good or bad? And what do you think? This, bring this to the community and help support those who have no access to the light. Don't you think this is good? If you think it is a good idea, please raise your hand. Thank you, thank you. I thought so. But again, then I thought of it. In America, one time in Los Angeles had a riot years ago, over 10 years ago, and then no power in the evening, dark. It's very dangerous. But in this community in Africa, every night, no power, no light, but peaceful. Why our society is not safe in the darkness, but Africa completely safe? And because we have a choice, I can turn on the light, I can turn off the light, depends on the situations. But they have no choice. Every night means darkness. So they have to create trustworthy relationship to be peace in the darkness. But if I bring in a light, which is the beginning of they have a choice to turn on the light or turn off the light. So I don't know if this is a good thing or not. Now, what do you think? Should we bring this light or not? Good thing? I was just thinking of it and then shared with my friends and youth in Japan, what do you think? And then their conclusion was, it's not our right to decide to bring it or not. They decide if they want to have it or not. So I brought one and then called community leaders. I have this. But our society in Japan and US, in its darkness, we are not safe. You are completely safe in darkness. This is convenient stuff. But once bringing experience this, I don't know what happened to this community or in your heart. But still, I'm not the one to decide. You are the one to decide. And they said, those who want to have this right, everybody immediately, yes, we want to have. Of course, they want. So I brought some. The next my trip, when I saw this scene, the lady in the middle, she was doing something which I never seen before, and she was using cell phone. And this electric tower is standing all over the place. Now cell phone came into this community. Then when we have the farmers gathering, just like US, if you have a cell phone, please turn off. So, and then this is a kitchen. The families and children and family get together in the evening. But when in front of this kitchen, when I saw this toy, a chicken, and then man-made car, and then cell phone toy. So this is today's Africa, and this one day we are visiting communities, and our car was broken. Then, fortunately, one of the farm member has a house nearby from here, 30 minutes walk. So he said, wait here, I go home and bring bicycle. And he brought 2 bicycles. Then one left for us, and the other one, he went to the city. I don't know how far he went, traveled, and looking for another car to bring me to Lusaka. From here to Lusaka, capital city, is 5 hours. And after that, next early morning, I have to fly to US. Then he was almost like I think he was looking for a car, but we have no way to contact him. And just waiting. And as in evening comes, they said, don't go into the grass because of many cobras in it. So I have to stay in the road, and as it gets dark, still no contact. So we decided to go back to where I stayed with the bicycles, and 2 hours I walk, and then finally 7 p.m. arriving in the way I stayed. Then he seems like he found a new car, but he went to looking for us. We are not there, and we just wait. 11 p.m. they came to pick us, me, and they went to the city. 3 a.m. and took a shower, went to the airport. So this is very hard. Then I asked the Shumei to buy satellite telephone, which is $3,000. But this tool is very convenient. Wherever I am, I can talk. I use only once. In my next trip, already people using cell phones. So today, the cell phone comes and very convenient. Then, so convenience and material is everywhere. But always in the development is a good thing. But the challenge is how to encourage, people what they can do. Two communities. One community used to, as I said, 3 hours bumpy road, and then some rainy season I cannot reach to the community because of the muddy road and too much rains. Today it's completely paved road. In 40 minutes, I can reach the community. So it's very good for car, good for community people. But what happened is this convenience of the paved road give rural area people have an opportunity to go to the towns. And so once they go to towns, they see many materials, convenient things. So then they feel we are very poor. In the city, they have a lot of things. We don't have enough money to buy it. So we want. So somehow convenient paved road didn't give them encouragement. Somehow they feel that they are poor materially. In another community, still 2 hours bumpy road we have to drive. So they have no access to the city. They are happy with what they have. So each time when we go there, we see the difference of energy of the community people. So always the challenge. Development is important and good things, but at the same time we have to empower, encourage more mental, the encouragement. So that's the challenge. And so we talk about your own commitment and make a change. Emotion and the mental change is important, but Nike donate a huge amount of money in the church business, in the church group. And if you go today, you can receive so many materials. Immediately they go there and they receive it. The material power is so strong. But like today's event, we all talking about healthy food, natural agriculture, organic agriculture. But agri-business is very powerful and convenience. We have to really think of not just African people, but here living in the city or Japan or US. We really think of the connectedness with all people and the environment, and our responsibility how to live in harmony with nature. So I'm very happy to have opportunity to share with you what's happening in Zambia, because in this only one Mother Earth beautiful planet, we are sharing this planet with everybody together. And it's very important to know what's happening in developing countries, and then our action each day can be directly or indirectly connect with these people and working together in this community. So thank you very much.